Although Vivo has a larger parameter configuration than Samsung, the actual imaging after cropping is almost the same as Samsung. The main cameras of Mi, OnePlus, and Xiaomi are all equivalent to 23 mm, while iPhone is 26 mm and Huawei Honor is 27 mm, which means that the frames of these three models visually are relatively narrower. This year, all these standard versions from various brands, except for iPhone, are equipped with telephoto lenses, which deserves praise. Among them, 3 of them, based on the hardware configuration of the previous standard version, are indeed quite far from the Ultra model, so is the actual gap in photo-taking performance that big? During well-lit daytime, the main cameras of various brands do not show significant differences. Mainly it comes down to color style preference, different strokes for different folks. Subjectively, the evening primrose by the roadside feels that Vivo and Xiaomi have better texture, which looks more pleasing at first glance. Honor has slightly overexposed, resulting in a bit of whitewashing overall, while Huawei gives the flowers a slight plasticky feel. At the storefront of Jiangxi, Xiaomi and Oppo are the closest, providing a realistic visual impression to the naked eye, but Xiaomi's algorithm here is somewhat off. Stripes are visible on this light box. Vivo and Samsung managed to control the light well, but still exhibit some color deviation. While iPhone and Huawei completely fail to manage it, time to move on. We switched to a slightly darker setting and took another set of photos. This Huawei remains the same, while the iPhone outshines in terms of brightness, and its color reproduction is the most accurate in this scene, with high contrast under the sun. The Honor performs relatively naturally, showcasing the brightness of the sky while retaining the details of the dark areas under the eaves. Although Vivo's control is good, the saturation feels a bit like an oil painting when increased. Xiaomi's overall performance is decent, but the sky tends to be slightly red or purple, making the rest of the 4 devices perform quite averagely. In the evening, a rare General's Twilight glow. Cover the watermark first. Among these serial numbers from 1 to 7, which one do you prefer? Comments on bullet comments are allowed. In fact, we also had a friendly debate internally, but in the end, no one could convince anyone. The opinions were quite similar. Because the color transition of the distant sky is the most natural, the atmosphere of the setting sun in the west is still rich. Samsung and Oppo have slightly low exposure, but the overall visual impression is not bad with a bit of difficulty. In this set, Huawei and Xiaomi give a red feeling to the white light beads, while the Honor VV series handle the lighting more accurately. Samsung and iPhone are somewhat overshadowed. The street lamps along the forest path, Xiaomi did a great job reproducing the flower pattern on the lamp. Although Vivo's handling of lighting may not be as precise, it retains more details around it. In reality, the scene is somewhere in between these two extremes, while Huawei gives a feeling that the surrounding things are about to catch fire. The last one can be included. I typed 2 words on the screen, and then both Samsung and Oppo made it look like daytime immediately, but the overall impression is still good. Xiaomi seems to have gotten something wrong. Both times I took photos, it had this grayish feel. Everyone's shooting time is around 3 to 4 seconds, but Huawei and Honor tend to produce blurry images quite easily. Honor needs to pay more attention. After pressing the capture button, besides a text reminder, there is no other countdown. It tells you that a phone is taking a photo, but the result is that you have no idea when it will finish. You might even doubt if I've started taking the picture. Hopefully, they can optimize with a progress bar in the future. In terms of telephoto capabilities, the iPhone uses digital cropping, while Honor has 2.5x zoom, OnePlus and Samsung have 3x zoom, Xiaomi has 3.2x zoom, and Huawei has the longest at 5x zoom. The longer the focal length, the further you can shoot, which is an advantage. However, the lack of focal length continuity from the main camera to the telephoto part leads to digital cropping. This results in a decrease in image quality for this part, indicating that the focal length handoff falls short. This is actually an area where the big players in the ultra segment excel, more lenses and higher quality. In terms of overall visual perception, Xiaomi's OA looks more natural at 3x zoom, with minor differences when zoomed in under sufficient light. Although this Huawei image is cropped, there is no significant difference compared to Samsung and Honor. The sunset at 5x zoom now arrives at Huawei's territory. Whether it's the sun's edge, cloud rendering, or building shadow details, it's all about authenticity. Surprisingly, the iPhone, despite its cropped image quality, gives a better impression than Oppo and Honor at 10x zoom. In terms of colors, Huawei is the only one capable of capturing the beige color of the arch bridge and pushing the lens to the plaque on the waterside pavilion. The algorithmic traces of different brands are distinct. Interestingly, the OA's resolution is slightly stronger than Huawei, capturing the text on the buildings across the river even at 10x zoom. Huawei Huawei, on the other hand, still lags behind OV in high magnification algorithm optimization. Finally, in terms of the white balance consistency of the tri-camera at the main venue, we have also conducted dedicated tests. The iPhone remains true to its iPhone essence, showing a strong subjectivity in portrait aspects. Feel free to comment on which image you prefer from 1 to 7. In summary, image technology has made remarkable progress in recent years, even in the standard versions of these flagships, delivering impressive performance. When compared by themselves, it doesn't really matter who is absolutely stronger. If you must rank them subjectively speaking, in most scenarios, Xiaomi and Vivo perform quite well, benefiting from telephoto lenses. Although Xiaomi is not the best, it has a longer focal macro distance. Oppo, on the other hand, excels a bit more in telephoto performance. But similar to Huawei, it has some instability in certain scene performances. The rest are relatively average, but still, compared to their flagship counterparts, these devices are definitely sufficient for the general users. There are also some detailed configurations, such as Samsung having ultrasonic fingerprint, while the other 5 have optical fingerprint. Apart from Honor and Oppo, the other 5 come standard with IP68 Type-C interface. Only Xiaomi, Samsung, and Huawei are USB 3.0, while the remaining 4 are USB 2.0. Just a reminder to pay extra attention. So, out of these 7 standard versions, which one do you prefer the most? Opening the comment section, we subjectively feel that the flagship standard versions of the past 2 years are particularly worth the public's attention. Going beyond, these Ultra editions are the result of their in-house professional exploration, especially in imaging, which many people may not actually need. Standard versions often better represent the brand's positioning and core product strength in a more balanced way that is suitable for the general public. As for these standard versions down the line, they are some sub-brands or more entry-level or mid-range flagship models. First of all, they have a significant advantage. You have to admit that they are pretty much the same as the Big Brother in terms of ID, or you could say quite similar. Even many models can hardly be distinguished from this Big Brother Auto. Also, these standard flagship models are on par with the Big Brother in terms of texture. Another crucial point is the system's maintenance and update cycle, especially for domestic Android models. Being part of the flagship series, they won't fall behind when it comes to updates. In conclusion, if you are particularly focused on gaming, you might want to consider these too. The performance of the chip this year is impressive, and this Xiaomi model doesn't seem to have any obvious shortcomings. If you value the feel, it's a fantastic compact powerhouse. If battery life is a top concern for you, you may want to check out this model from Honor, or the standard versions from Huawei, Samsung, and Apple. If you have been using these brands before, upgrading to their ecosystem as a regular user should be smooth without significant issues. For more exciting content, search Little White Reviews across the entire internet. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.